All right, welcome to another beautiful edition of Locker Room and Voice of the People TV. It promises to be exciting on the show this afternoon as we take a look at matters arising as far as football is concerned. I am Jerry Arpelihai, reporting for sporting duties, and we've got a thrilling show for you today. Joining me today, once again, we have Ike Chukwu and Maiwa joining us virtually, and they're ready to break down all the action and share their thoughts on what's going on as far as football is concerned. All right, you can also be a part of the program. You can do that via the WhatsApp number showing on the screen, and you can also call us as well as drop your messages on the YouTube platform. We'll take your comments as the show progresses, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you always get to be a part of Locker Room each time we are here. Ikechukwu, it's great to have you join us once again. So much happening in the exciting world of football.
Yes, good evening, Jerry. The season's winding down. We've already known that PSG has won the La Liga. So yes, Liverpool also inevitably they've also done it, and it's also a very interesting time where a lot of clubs are actually trying to actually get their heads above the water. Some are actually fighting for the top four spots, while some are actually languishing in the middle of the table. And Jerry, it's been a very, very interesting time so far this season. I must say that you are yet to buy me that very cold beer and of course a pot of soup, to actually celebrate your win as champions of England.
Yeah, anyway, it's good that on this platform I'm alive on this day, April 22nd, 2025, to have Ikechukwu already prospecting Liverpool as champions of England. Who would have thought that this day will come when you were brandishing your camaraderie, showing us some Rabiji prophecy, and I don't know which village prophecy you were bringing to this platform and saying, mark this. I think you were even hitting the table with so much pride. If this table could talk that day, this table would have said, still stop.
No, Jerry,
I say that's now you're going to win the league.
One thing you will not take away from me is the fact that I said you're going to go home with just one trophy this season, and that's what happened.
And the trophy you said was the Carabao Cup.
Yes.
Was not the league.
And of course, Tottenham, Newcastle United did, the needful, and that's why Faith had to. I told you what happened. I mean, the referee, the board.
Why did the prophecy not say the referee was going to favor?
It didn't happen again. No, I've congratulated you.
No, this your congratulation comes with a lot of connotations. That is why I will not accept it.
Okay, Liverpool are the champions. You will buy me beer.
Congratulate me or not, I will not. I will not waste my effort in promoting my enemy, because next season I know you are still coming. Unfortunately, your club side have to be on the position. Some many errors and woes. They are still on the 14th position. I think the 14th position is more like winning the league for me, for Manchester United, because they don't deserve to be there. Anyway, let's talk about big things happening. Maiwa gets to join us virtually. Maiwa, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, you heard when I was talking about this Irabiji prophet, when he was congratulating. This one, his congratulations, I can't take it. He wants me to see buying beer. On top of all the bad belly, and you drink that beer, and that beer will settle your stomach. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Beer report person.
You will know this one. Anyway, I plan on having a celebration. That will be May.
I think we had that. We had that conversation.
Yeah, that will be May around around May ending. Maiwa will invite you. Don't worry. I know.
You will not invite me.
I will not invite you. No, because if you drink that beer, something will happen. It's great to have you join us on Local.
Well, it's always amazing to be here, and definitely congratulations are in order for you. I mean, Liverpool are doing it and about to the crown 20th time stone for Liverpool. Finally, they get to meet Manchester United. But in any case, Man City is playing today, and I hope Man City loses so they can, cement their play. But in any case, it's a good Tuesday to talk football. Thank you for having me.
Let me congratulate
Anyway.
for coming close. I mean, you're now 20th. You are now winning your 20th league title. So it has always been that you keep chasing me. Your future is always my past, and don't worry. By next season, you will get another league title. You continue chasing, perhaps for the next 10 years. It took you 30 years to get 2 league titles or more.
Better late than never.
Yeah, like I said, your future will always be our past. And welcome to the league of the 20s.
Yeah. And we win 5 more before you even
get 5 more.
You get to win your next one.
Well, Okpelekwe PGMLO.
It is, yes, let them keep doing it for us. I think I'll be happy. Please, PGMO, please do it again next season. Please do it again.
Is it in turn and
Well, Liverpool also. What's the big deal?
That's what I'm saying. That between the first English side that has done that.
See, back-to-back Champions League final is no longer a thing. I think we should not even celebrate it. We'll win it. I'll be back-to-back. Back-to-back is no longer raining.
What?
If it's raining, if back-to-back is raining, when Liverpool was making final, if we count out one, English side we even near Liverpool as far. What am I saying? It will only be Real Madrid. Even up to when they won the 11th one. You know how many Champions League final Liverpool has been to? Okay, we will not even count that one.
So just enjoy
your king of comeback. That is
ceremonial. We are definitely
ceremonial king of comeback. There is only happening once in blue moon in the Europa
League. We did it in the UEFA Champions League final. 2 minutes to the end of Champions League final.
You were only that.
98 final. 2 minutes.
99.
Yes, 1999.
99.
No team.
99 years old child is already winning Champions League.
Jerry, forget. No team has been able to.
Born in 99 has won Champions League twice.
Jerry has been able to do that in England. In Europe, 2 minutes.
Born in 1999.
Jerry, for you to
for what? For what? I'm not congratulating. This this Europa League that they were dashing you penalty and your player of that
okay, they are dashing you penalty.
It's enough. It's enough.
Which penalty?
Expecting Jerry to say any truth.
If you want to talk about VAR favoring some people, we can begin to review your matches and tell you the one VAR gave the game to Liverpool.
See, if you show me I will
Liverpool.
agree. I will agree. Please name the matches.
Don't
and
worry.
This man,
Don't worry.
I told you to name the matches this season.
I'm going to.
But see,
Jerry,
I have
don't worry.
evidence back to back.
Jerry.
Against even the Lyon you won. They had to give them red card and still here they were still almost destroying you at Old Trafford. If not that
we wanted the game to be interesting.
Interesting power.
I told you, King of Combat, I want to prove once again that even with a very bad team, we will show that
I love that word, very bad.
Yes, team. United have a bad team. That's not a conversation starter.
All right, let's talk about Nigerian-born goalkeeper. Talking about Owen Goodman has expressed his desire to play for, citing his Canadian upbringing and preference for the country. And Goodman, currently on loan to AFC Wimbledon, has 20 clean sheets, 43 games, and is eligible for England. He has represented England at youth level, but hopes to receive a call-up from Canada soon. Goodman's father, Phil, supports his son's decision, stating that Owen feels more Canadian than Nigerian and is waiting for his citizenship to be approved. However, Goodman's mother has contradicted these claims, denying that her son ever said he prefers to play for Canada. She hinted at Owen's availability to play for Nigeria. And the goalkeeper's international future remains uncertain, with his mother's comments sparking debate about his potential allegiance. And Goodman's form has sparked interest in his abilities, and his decision will likely have implications for both Nigeria and Canada's national teams. He's just 20 years of age, and it looks like the father and mother on a different page. And even taking it to even the press shows that I hope they are still together. They are not. Anyway, I'll let you find out. Anyway, the way it is, he's a very interesting lad. He's just 20 years of age. I think they should still give him more time to really prove himself. Yeah, he is doing well for AFC Wimbledon right now. I think he still needs to give himself more time, 1 or 2 more years before we'll be talking about playing for the national team. But if he's still good, he meets the standard, I think it will be a good idea if the Super Eagles invite him at least to be among the senior men and maybe become a future prospect for the Super Eagles.
True, true. I mean, if the Super Eagles can invite him and then give him an opportunity, even if it just means to actually lock him down, you know, we know that, okay, when the need arise, when he actually develop to an extent, we can actually, make him, our first choice goalkeeper or bring him into the national team. The goalkeeper. The goalkeeping is one area where even areas. I mean, it's having conflicts between the father and the mother, taking different sides, and of course, the biggest or the most important thing is that the father can say whatever he likes, the mother can also say whatever she likes, but the most important thing here is, what does this young man want, right? If the young man wants to play for the Super Eagles, then he should play for the Super Eagles. If he wants to play for Canada, they should allow him be, because the truth is, if you force a player to be part of a team that he doesn't want to be, he's definitely going to be playing against that team, and we don't want that here, I mean, it's actually a good thing, hearing that a player of his, quality. I think we want to start seeing players who are actually playing for top clubs, and then even if you're going to be part of the Super Eagles team B, or be on the bench, even if you're playing in a lower league, be a key player for that particular team. And if he's going to be replicating the form he's currently enjoying in his club side, I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't have him play for the Super Eagles too.
All right, Marwa, it's a big decision to make for the young man. It seems like he wants to play for Canada, but the mother says no. I know mothers have a way of making their sons do what they want. Are we seeing a situation like that?
I think the mother might be able to influence him. However, that might spell doom for Nigeria. I think we should only allow those that actually wants to wear the green, white, green jersey to be able to play for us. If he's having conflict about the country he wants to play for, I think he should sort that out before we even think of inviting him. And if we also invite him, I don't think we should give him the access to the national team at the moment. The thing is we want players who play in top club to feature for our national team. This particular person plays for Wimbledon, and that is in the second tier of league. And it's just we have another that train rather than draft him to the Super Eagles, because that will set a bad precedent that if you are playing for even a club, case in point, that has not even featured for them, made it to the Super Eagles, and that is making rubbish the quality that we need in Super Eagles. So for me, even if you want to play for Nigeria, it takes he wants to play for before Nigeria decides to make an overture to get him to play for us fully.
All right, there must be something that he's doing right to get 20 clean sheets in 43 matches for AFC Wimbledon. Though they are not a top club side, and some will also look at that. But at this age, definitely looks like good things are happening for him. All right, still talking about the Super Eagles, where Nigeria's head coach Eric Chell is planning to approach 21-year-old Eintracht Frankfurt defender Nnamdi Collins to play for the Super Eagles. Collins, who was born to a Nigerian father and Polish mother, has represented Germany from under 15 to under 21 level, but hasn't received the call-up to the senior team. He has played 29 games for Frankfurt this season and is still eligible to play for Nigeria. Collins has expressed interest in playing in the 2026 World Cup, but he hasn't discussed his international future with German coach Julian Nagelsmann. And Chell believes that playing for Nigeria could help Collins achieve his World Cup dreams. However, the Super Eagles are currently struggling in their World Cup qualifiers group, making it a challenging task. How do you sell this to this man? I think he will have to be a very good marketer, because if you look at the Super Eagles situation right now, it's not really convincing for any player to jump into the Super Eagles ahead of maybe an opportunity, if there will ever be, for the man to play for the German team, because this 2026 World Cup is not looking
playing is a bit assemble his own boys. He's trying to actually assemble players who will be loyal to him. When you walk into a new environment, and then there are old horse there, you try as much as you can to first of all massage their ego, and then see the ones that can actually fit into your plan, and then you start recruiting the ones that will be loyal to you, so that it's going to make you help you actually get the required result you're actually looking at. And I think this young lads is beginning to scout across Europe because of our failed system of actually grooming these guys ourselves here. I think it might work for him in the long run. This guy playing for Eintracht Frankfurt is actually a good player, and if there's any area we've really been lagging, it's in the defense line. And if we can actually get him play for the Super Eagles, that's going to be a very big boost. I mean, he's quite young, 21. He's still got a lot of years, for him. I mean, as a defender, he's still got at least 10 good years to give us at his best. So having him play for the Super Eagles is going to be very big good. But then the big question is this: can we actually put ourselves in a position where we'll be attractive enough for him to want to be part of the party? Because these sort of players will be weighing their options. They'll be looking at the fact that, okay, if I don't go to the World Cup, I'm still 21. By 25, I can still make it to the German national team. But if the opportunity comes that the Super Eagles are in a very good position to go to the World Cup, and then he can actually be part of the team to go to the World Cup, he will likely want to weigh his options. Okay, let me play at the World Cup. I'm still very much 21. I can play very many World Cups. Nigeria is a big brand in Africa. So these are the conditions. But if Nigeria fails to actually miss out, we might miss out on a lot of players. And this is one of the reasons why this player who we just talked about earlier on, Goodman, might also be looking at the Nigerian and Canadian option. Canada went to the last World Cup. Nigeria, missed the party. So he might be fancying the opportunity of, you know what, Canada can actually make it to the World Cup again, and I you know, to play at the World Cup. I mean, when you go to the World Cup, it gives you an opportunity to actually make big moves. And this is what has happened over the years. So many of these footballers will always be looking at all of these opportunities. So I just hope that, you know, the Eric Cherry is able to actually, you know, convince him enough and show him the project is actually building, because it should go beyond just one World Cup.
All right, Maiwa, if selling the World Cup appearance would be the bargaining chip, I think Portugal is already looking at failing on getting the young man.
Well, the thing is there's going to sell the World Cup to Collins. The fact is this: there's a lot of competition in the German national team. If he doesn't get, you know, he might not even get the call up, and that's the reason why he's considering Nigeria. If he's very good, if he's good, I'm not saying he's not good, but if he's German national team standard, he would have gotten the call rather than, you know, trying to go and speak to the coach and just what. There's a whole lot of competition. There's a lot of you know, young talent coming in from, you know, from the German setup, and that's the reason why, you know, Collins is struggling to make it to the national team. However, if Collins wants to play in the World Cup, it should be part of the qualifier. If he's not part of the qualifier, it will be so unfair for some of our top players or some other players to be part of the qualifier, fight for the ticket, get the ticket, and Collins will just stroll in because his prospect is not not looking good in the German national side. The fact is this, you know, and this is the downside of recruiting players overseas. You know, they take Nigeria as second option. When their option is not bright in their preferred country, they decide to come and play for Nigeria. I don't think that's right. However, yes, it's good enough for Eintracht Frankfurt. He's been doing fantastically well for them. If he wants to go to the World Cup for Nigeria, it should be part of the World Cup qualifier. If he doesn't make it to the World Cup qualifier, then we should forget about it and probably be thinking about him for, you know, 2030 World Cup and not this particular World Cup.
All right, and of course, it might also be the fact that he's interested in the Canadian citizenship. Because if you take a look at the citizenship of Canada, it will open more doors for him and for his next generation. And playing for Canada will also give him a lot of maybe more opportunities. Because what will the Super Eagles give him apart from maybe being a Nations Cup quality, and maybe if he does very well, maybe a chance to win the African Footballer of the Year if he gets to that level. And he will have to play for another top club side, and of course do very well, because even as a defender, it's quite difficult, as the case may be. Well, let's talk about Taiwo Awoniyi. He was back in action for Nottingham Forest, who beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-1 away in Monday's Premier League encounter. Awoniyi had been out since April after suffering a hamstring injury, but the Nigerian international returned to the pitch after replacing Chris Wood in the 75th minute. However, his Nigerian teammate Olaino is still sidelined with a muscle injury, and the victory against Spurs boosted Forest's hopes of UEFA Champions League qualification as they maintained third position on 60 points in the league table. And taking a look at Taiwo Awoniyi, he's been battling with lots of injuries, and with the fact he makes a return, we don't know when he's going to return back to the injury bed. It's quite rather unfortunate that he is a talented young man. Injuries have just been his problem since he made the move to the English Premier League. Okay, he was formerly with Liverpool before he made the move away.
Taiwo Awoniyi is, you know, when you look at the current crop of Super Eagles players, one of the players that I'm most disappointed in is Taiwo Awoniyi. Simply because I can still very much remember the Under-17 World Cup. Himself and Kelechi Iheanacho were part of that particular team, and he actually gave a very good, you know, fight for that particular team. And then after the World Cup, you know, we're expecting to actually see, you know, more of, you know, Kelechi Iheanacho and Taiwo Awoniyi. And Iheanacho at some point actually left Taiwo Awoniyi behind, and couple of years down the line, I was expecting to actually see Awoniyi become the mainstay of the Super Eagles. But then he fizzled out. We saw a bit of him last season. I think last season, last season, where he actually stopped Arsenal. No, 2 seasons before, right? When you actually stop Arsenal, when Arsenal was actually very close to winning the league, and also helped them to escape relegation. But nothing have been heard of him. Players who actually do not have this consistency is really not good. For the national team, and this sort of players actually really struggle when they go to their club side, because there's something about top managers. When they see that you're not consistent, you're most likely going to lose your shirt, because they want to actually compete at the highest level. If it were to be a couple of seasons ago where Nottingham Forest weren't actually giving this level of fight, Tawane perhaps might have still been their main striker. But then because there's a project and there's a form that the team has actually not actually their because of course actually want to start and over the problem coming back, yes, a good one, but then how long at least banging the goals and then because there's something about strikers. When you keep scoring goals, you become more confident. When you become more confident, the team become more confident in you, and then when they see you, everything naturally just fall in place. If you look at the Super Eagles before Osimhen actually was part of this our last two games, we had a conversation about his presence, right? Strikers have that presence when they are actually part of a team, and when they give their result, when they give their best to their team, you see that the team naturally, even when the team is not even playing well, when that particular striker is on the field, the team naturally just follow the lead of the attacker. So that's one thing about him. Yes, it's good he's back from injury. I just hope he stays consistent and then be part of the team, because I've always said it that I need somebody, and if there's anyone who can actually fight defenders like Victor Osimhen, is this guy Taiwo Awoniyi. He's actually a beast in front of defenders. He can make you, he can put you on your toes for 90 minutes, but then ability to actually finish and convert has been his major problem, and that's exactly not good for the Super Eagles.
All right, so Mario had a lot of prospects for Taiwo Awoniyi when he played for the under 16. Well, look at how he has grown to become a good footballer, but injuries have not really been the best for him. Last season, I was really hopeful. He showed some bit of brilliance. I thought this season was going to be it, but looks like injury had other plans.
Well, he did so well when he went to Germany. It was because of his move to Germany that was what prompted Nottingham Forest to sign him. However, he has been battling with injury. You remember, injury also kept him out of the Nations Cup, and that was the reason why he wasn't part of the Nations Cup. And since that injury, he has lost his confidence in front of goal. Also, remember, they brought in Chris Wood as a backup striker for Taiwo Awoniyi, thinking Taiwo Awoniyi will be able to deliver the goods. However, Chris Wood has been in scintillating form. It is only a crazy coach that will want to bench a Chris Wood for a Taiwo Awoniyi, that his confidence that is lacking in confidence at the moment. However, I think he needs to approach this psychologically. I want to take you back to Rashford. Rashford was having some psychological issues. The same thing with Luke Shaw. They were having some psychological issues after coming back from injury, and they had to speak to a psychologist, and that brought out the best in them. I think Awoniyi should do the same thing. If you look at him in front of goal, the confidence is lacking, and I think it's not because of the fitness, it's not because he has lost his goal scoring touch. It's because he has lost confidence in himself, and he needs somebody to be able to get him into the mindset of a daily striker that we know him to be. I hope after this season he's able to approach this issue psychologically. I'll probably see the best of him next season, because I don't think he has a whole lot of time to prove himself with Nottingham Forest. How long will Nottingham Forest continue to pay for a striker that doesn't deliver?
All right, definitely that's a big one, if you ask me. For Taiwo Awoniyi, a big decision for the club side. Nottingham Forest under Nuno Espirito Santo, who has said his Nottingham Forest side will embracing being in the race for Champions League football and in FA Cup semi-final after they beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-1 away on Monday night. The Forest jumped back up to third in the table and are in pole position out of the 5 clubs, slugging it out for the Champions League spot behind Liverpool and Arsenal. Who would have thought that Nottingham Forest will comfortably be going for the Champions League spot when the season started? I think I was one of those who said that watch out for this Nottingham Forest side. They would be a side going to the Champions League next season. And they didn't prove me wrong. Definitely, they proved me right in prospecting them for Champions League places.
Oh, well, I mean, Nuno Espirito Santo is no new coach in the Premier League. I mean, he has shown that he's got quality. It's only people who are not been following the league that will say they are actually surprised what he's doing. Maybe the surprise will come because of the quality of team. But then we saw him.
His time as Tottenham was not really good.
Yes, we actually saw him at Wolves and how he was a very big thorn in the flesh of big team, particularly Man City. When they were actually at the peak of their power. But then he left because that particular his job at Wolves actually gave the Mike Dean and co in Tottenham also actually who from in garage. A lot of players from that particular team were actually not given chance. The likes of Elanga is a one-way player, Manchester United. I mean, Ola, yes, we've seen the glimpse of him at Chelsea. Yes, but a lot of persons will not ever believe that this guy is going to rise one day to become arguably the best fullback in Premier League of a particular season. We saw so many players, Chris Wood, we were talking about Taiwo Awoniyi. We've seen these guys in that particular team. So he came into that particular team and then it turned things around. Their confidence, their mental state, every single thing, they approach every game like big team. Going away from home in a crucial part of the season. I mean, I was talking about this race for top 4 yesterday, and I was like, this Nottingham Forest might come down because hoping I look at the fixtures and playing against Tottenham, I like, okay, you're going away from home. I was expecting them to even get at most draw. I was expecting them to go there, park the bus and then perhaps get the first goal.
Even beating Tottenham home and away.
Exactly. So
that's quite formidable.
I mean, yesterday when I saw the game, it was 2-0. I was like, wow, these guys are actually still punching. They still got a lot of gas in their tank. And for Nuno Espirito Santo, there's no other way to actually, idolize him than to actually perhaps build a statue for him right there at, the Nottingham Forest Stadium. See, at this point, only few managers can actually do what he's doing. I mean, it's actually not different from what this guy did with Leicester City. Came back from relegation to actually win the league. Talking about Claudio Ranieri. These sort of managers are actually in the same league. For me, if you ask me, who is the manager of the conversation about them. Possibly, if Arsenal slip up, they might even just break into the second position. It tells you how much of a fight they've actually into this particular season. And it's a big one. I mean, it's really, really big.
All right, Myra, do you think that Tottenham made a big mistake by sacking Santo? And the fact that his spell was not that successful at Tottenham, is it already showing that Tottenham was actually the problem, not the coach?
Mike Dean is the weapon fashioned against Tottenham in terms of winning anything. A club that decided to fire a Mourinho 2 days to the final of a major cup. What do you expect they would do to Nuno Espirito Santo? The fact is this: Mike Dean never spent money, and he didn't really support Nuno because of his stinginess. That was why Nuno did not succeed. If you are giving Nuno time, he would have been able to replicate what he did for Wolves and what he's doing for Nottingham Forest. One thing about Nuno Espirito Santo is this: he has a way of improving players, and he has done it so well with the Nottingham Forest team. They don't have a major star, but he has built those guys into players that other top clubs are looking at. An Olaina that couldn't cut it in Chelsea, is now the toast of big clubs in the EPL. A Chris Wood, who nobody wanted because of his age, at 33, is banging in the goals for fun. Anthony Elanga, was surplus to requirement in Manchester United. Anthony he has turned him around and he has become an integral part of the Nottingham Forest. I'm not surprised with what he has been able to do. I think Nuno Espirito Santo has the quality, and apart from maybe you probably give an slot because this is the first season in the EPL and he's winning the EPL. That's the reason why maybe you give Arne Slot the coach of the season. I think for me, apart from the EPL that Liverpool is winning, I think Nuno Espirito Santos deserves, to get, coach of the season because of what he has been able to do with a team that barely survived relegation last season, and now they are in the Champions League. It's a good one, and the team that was able to beat, Liverpool at home in this season. So
Yeah.
it shows the kind of quality the coach has, and he has done so well for himself and Nottingham Forest as a whole.
All right, and to even say that they are one of the teams that will not, they not even play possession football. Most of the possession when it comes to the top teams in England, and still yet they are managing to be in the top four. Their football not really beautiful, but they know how to get the job done. That's how business like Nottingham Forest has been this season.
It's a Portuguese thing, but an average Portuguese coach is more of a tactician. I mean, if you look at Ruben Amorim at Sporting, look at Jose Mourinho, you look at Nuno Esperanto, they don't play the fanciest of football, but they know how to grind results. That's a Portuguese thing. So it's actually not surprising. That's how they actually approach their games. And a bit of flair, yes, but naturally they are more of tacticians than even coach. They sit down and then look at how they're actually going to break oppositions. They don't care about possession. Even while at Stoke City, all they know how to do is just to actually find the space, get the ball through to their striker and then finish it off. And then all the players Nuno Espirito Santos over his career has been, that he has actually handled for in the Premier League are coaches are players who actually understand how to actually interpret tactics. And that's why if you look at all of his players over the years, you notice that none of his players have actually moved on from the level he actually left them. Because there are players who are actually specialists in handling tactical issues. They're like they're best described as soldiers, the Lassana Diarras of this world. They might not be the real superstars, but when it comes to playing a game and locking down game and then getting results, you find a lot of players in that particular position. And this is what he has been able to actually do with this Nottingham Forest team. And I mean, he's been really enjoying the result. I just hope that they actually build on this, because when you get to this sort of level, the next thing is to actually build on it. I mean, you've gotten to the climax of it. You're in the Champions League. Let's see what they're actually going to be doing next season. A lot of fun things to come in. But Champions League football is not it's not child's play. You have to be doing this and then coming over the weekend to actually play in the Premier League. So it's going to be a face for the team. But then let them just enjoy the moment as it comes.
All right, and their owner has a lot of money to spend. And to say this club side was actually deducted some points. Was it this season? Yes. Yeah. At some point they deducted, and still yet they are still going for the Champions League. Quite a formidable season it has become. I think I want to toe the line of saying that he's been the coach of the season, because with the little or nothing, Nottingham Forest were bound relegation last season, and now they are up for the Champions League. They're in the semi-final of the FA Cup, and they're likely to beat Man City and, of course, even go as far as winning the FA Cup. But let's talk about way back where Jose Mourinho was named the special one when he made the move to join Chelsea from FC Porto after the Champions League season, title-winning season with FC Porto in Portugal. Meanwhile, there are a lot of stories about that time, and former Chelsea player Claude Makelele has become one of those who has come out with revelations of his time playing under Jose Mourinho, as he praised the Portuguese, describing him as a father figure and dictator during his time as manager at Chelsea. Makelele signed for Chelsea in 2003 under Mourinho and won the Premier League titles with the club. And according to Makelele, Mourinho's strong character and discipline were essential in leading the team to success, particularly with young talent who needed guidance. And of course, Mourinho has a way of doing his things, and I don't know whether he has lost his touch right now, because we hear that he's set to leave Fenerbahce. Maiwa, taking a look at Jose Mourinho, he was something else during his heydays. Would I say he has lost the steam now? But Mourinho during his time was a no-nonsense man. I know of his story, how he frustrated the likes of Arsene Wenger. Even Jose Mourinho, at some point, people said Sir Alex Ferguson had to leave the scene because he doesn't want coaches like Jose Mourinho to rubbish his legacy. And it was an interesting time for him, most especially his first spell at Chelsea.
Well, the thing is, football has changed. The approach to coaching is different. We have all these Gen Zs coming into football right now. You cannot use the approach you use for the likes of Terry, Drogba, and the rest of that. You have to be hard on them, and you have to, you have to call the shots for things to work a certain way. This particular brand of players, you have to dialogue with them. Before you begin to bring out the big stick, you have to first of all dialogue with them, massage them, see them. If you shout with this caliber player, if you shout at them, some of them will go inside and be crying. So things have changed, and I don't think Mourinho has changed, his style of coaching, and that's the reason why he's probably struggling. Also, he's still stuck in the 2004 tactics days, and that does no longer do not really work anymore. A whole lot of club that is giving you money, they want you to play exciting football because they believe exciting football brings the crowd to the stadium. Mourinho does not do that. He's a business-like minded coach. I just want to win, and that's what matters, no matter how I get it. And that's the reason why, he's struggling at the moment. As it is, in economics, they call something law of diminishing returns. I think at every particular point in time, you start diminishing, and that's what we are seeing. He's already in his early 60s. Definitely, I don't think he has more years as a coach, but he has done so well for himself. And if he hangs his boots right now and decides that he wants to be, a grandfather to his daughter's child, well, all well and good. But in any case, you can't take away what he has done for football. And to be honest with you, I think it's just because he has not evolved with time. That is the reason why he's struggling at the moment.
All right, and of course, you remember his time at Chelsea, father, dictator, the special one, and
the only one.
the only one. And even the time he even said that Mourinho was a specialist in failure.
Arsene Wenger.
Yeah, Arsene Wenger, beg your pardon. And so many other very interesting times. And of course, the players were so much afraid and at the same time respected him so much.
Let's be very honest with ourselves. No good manager, no manager who wants to actually be remembered as a legend is going to appear like a good person, right? You have to own the dressing room. You have to be the main character in the team for the team to actually follow your lead. That's what leadership is. That's why we look back in the days, coaches that have changed football, coaches that have revolutionized the game, even referees like Colina that we actually always talk about. These guys are people who, when they step into the field, we see them on the pitch. Even the players get scared when they see them. This is exactly what it means to be a leader. And Jose Mourinho showed and embodied this particular quality. The truth is, the problem with Jose Mourinho, like Mario rightly said, is that Jose Mourinho did not actually evolve. But that's not even just the only problem. Jose Mourinho failed to actually read the room and understand what his strengths and where his strength lies. Now, Jose Mourinho is a tactician. He's a manager who likes to actually sit, pack the box, and hit the opponent on a quick counter and then lock the game. That is what is actually Jose Mourinho. That was actually what created the enigma called Jose Mourinho. But then when Jose Mourinho moved from Inter Milan to Real Madrid, the Madrid board sat him down and said, hey, you cannot play that way here. The Bernabeu fans want to see exciting football. The Bernabeu fans want to actually own the pitch. The Bernabeu fans want to actually see their team boss people. We don't want to sit back for 90 minutes. Yes, we know you can get the result, but we want to see you play exciting football. A lot of players were recruited. Cristiano Ronaldo of this world, Kaká, so many exciting players.
Terrible.
A lot of them, and then the project kicked off. They did so well, 100 points in La Liga. It tells you a lot. Now, when he actually was part of Real Madrid side, they got to the Champions League semi-final. They lost narrowly. He cried that night against after they lost to Dortmund. But then that was the beginning of his decline. His return to Chelsea, if you watch the way he actually played, he wasn't as defensive as he was in his first spell. He has actually loosened up, and he's not a manager that can actually play that way. Just imagine a Pep Guardiola move into a defensive mode. He's going to struggle. That's not who he is. Look at Antonio Conte. Over the years, he's been hailed for the way he approaches his game. They call him haram football, call him all sort of name. But he got to 2 UEFA Champions League finals, and then he lost those Champions League finals to Real Madrid. But then people respected him. That's the way he played. If Jose Mourinho had stayed back at Chelsea, he would have still been the same manager, and perhaps he would have won another Champions League or even two. But then he moved away from where his strength is, and that's exactly what the problem is for him. Well, I mean, looking at even the core is a business room. He decides and he takes what happens. I was listening to his his interview one time where he was saying at the beginning of every season he walk into the CEO's office and they ask him, is there any player you sign a contract with? And the man says and leave. That's what happened. Look at these managers. These are the managers where you look at their team. If you look at some teams, look at Arsenal. We talk about the coach. They are more like in the same level with the players. But these managers are people who you see before you start seeing the players.
All right, time really not our friend. We'll have to wrap it up. And we know that Man City takes on Aston Villa in one of the interesting games to look forward to. And Maiwa is already anticipating the loss of Man City. I hope he will have his dinner before that game. Maiwa, it's great having you on Locker Room.
And I hope that tonight and for me, Jerry.
All right, this where you go as well.
I just hope Man City win the game tonight. I want to see them make the top 4.
All right, that's how we wrap it up. Big thanks to the guys behind the scenes talking about lives of Silva, Shogun, and of course Sam and Jeremiah, and of course giving it up to Ikechukwu. My name is Jerry Apello. I'm saying thanks for being a part of the show. Want to meet again, stay safe, and if not 20 at all, do it the sports way.